let us now see all the 5 marks questions. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to start with another chapter, that is guidance and counseling. Unit 1, Introduction to Guidance and Counseling. I have provided with the revision notes at the end of the chapter. Do check it out. The first question is elucidate the importance of guidance. Guidance is nothing but it is a systematic and organized process which helps individuals to understand themselves as well as their environment so that they can make appropriate decisions and right adjustments in their life. Okay, now the present world that we are living in is rapidly changing with respect to education, technology, employment opportunities, and social relationships. So, in such scenarios, students experience a lot of confusion, stress, and uncertainty. So, in such situations, guidance will become very essential. Okay. So, guidance will develop a person intellectually, emotionally, socially, and vocationally. So, what is the importance of guidance? First, it helps in self understanding. Next, it facilitates proper educational choices. It assists in vocational development and career selection. It promotes emotional and mental well being. Then, it improves decision making abilities. It helps in social adjustment. It reduces educational wastage and stagnation. What is this educational wastage? It is nothing but failures, dropouts, or repetition of the particular class. And what is stagnation? Now, the child will be in the same place where he was previously. He will not grow. Okay, so guidance will reduce educational wastage and stagnation. Then encourages holistic development. It helps in identifying and solving problems. It prepares individuals for future challenges. It promotes values and ethical behavior. And then finally, it supports inclusive education. What are the objectives of guidance? So as we have already seen, guidance is a purposeful and systematic process that aims at helping individuals to achieve their fullest potential in life. So the objectives of guidance mainly focus on overall development of the individual by addressing educational, vocational, personal, and social needs. So what are the various objectives? The guidance helps in self-understanding. It develops self-confidence. It assists in educational choices. It provides vocational guidance. It promotes emotional stability, improves decision-making ability, develops problem-solving skills, help in social adjustments, then promotes personal development, encourages independent thinking, help in setting realistic goals. It reduces confusion and anxiety, develops leadership qualities, encourages moral and ethical values, and promotes lifelong learning. Explain the role of teacher in guidance strategies for effective guidance. The teacher plays a central and dynamic role in guidance process because they are the closest to the students in an educational environment. Okay, they interact with the students on a daily basis, hence they occupy a unique position in children's life. So what is their role? They have to identify the individual differences and needs. So in a class, every student is different and every student has different needs. So teacher is supposed to identify those needs and differences and address them appropriately. Second, providing additional guidance. Okay, if any student requires additional support, a teacher should be able to provide that. Then supporting emotional and physiological development, promoting social adjustment, creating a positive learning environment, providing career awareness and guidance, referring students to specialists. That means if a student has any special needs with respect to academic or emotional or behavioral problems, teachers should identify those students and then they have to send them to either counselors or psychologists or special educators. Teachers should act as a role model. They should not merely speak, they should act whatever they are speaking. So, what are the attributes which make a person a good counselor? First, the person should have self awareness and understanding. Next, he should be of sound mental health. Before dealing with others' mental health, he should have a good health, okay, with respect to mind. And he should be sensitive, okay. That means he should be able to understand and respond to the feelings and emotions of others. Then he should be open-minded. Then he should express objectivity. Objectivity means being fair, unbiased, and impartial while dealing with individuals. Then he should be easily approachable. So these are the qualities of a good counselor. What are the principles of guidance? So this guidance, the process of guidance is governed by a set of principles, and everybody should stick to those principles. Okay, so what are the principles? Principle of individual differences. Each and every individual is unique in terms of abilities, interests, aptitudes, personality traits, and backgrounds. So, guidance should recognize all these individual differences and act accordingly. A common approach is never effective for all students. Each student should be dealt in a different way. Principle of holistic development. So, guidance should focus on overall development of individuals with respect to intellectual, emotional, social, moral, and physical aspect. It should not be limited to just academics or career. It should cover all the above mentioned characters. Then, principle of continuous process. Guidance is not a single one day activity or one hour, or it is not bound by time, okay? But it is a process that extends throughout the life of an individual. Then, principle of universality. The guidance is meant for all individuals, and it is not only for those who face problems, okay? Irrespective of if a person has problem or not, he requires guidance in life. Then, principle of self direction, okay? So the main aim of guidance is nothing but to make individuals make their own decisions. Okay, to make individuals their own decision makers. So it should make the individuals in such a way that they are independent, self-reliant and confidence. Okay, then principle of flexibility. Okay, all the guidance programs which are being offered should be very flexible and adaptive according to the changing needs of the individuals and the society. So a rigid system should not be followed. Then principle of scientific approach. So there are many scientific approaches which guidance should follow. Okay, guidance should be based on specific scientific methods and observation, interviews, tests, and data analysis. Okay, so science should be kept in mind while guiding any person or an individual. Principle of cooperation. Okay, guidance is not a process that the guidance is not something that is done by only one person. It has to involve parents, counselors, administrators, and community. So collaboration among all these members will ensure better guidance. Principle of respect for individual dignity. Every individual should be treated with respect and dignity. And guidance should maintain confidentiality and protect self-esteem of the individuals. Then principles of democratic approach. Okay. Guidance should promote democratic values like freedom, equality, and respect for individual choices. Okay. Students should be given the opportunity to express their opinions and participate in decision-making process. Then principle of early intervention. So guidance, no, when it should happen at an early stage to prevent problems later. Okay, it should not be started once after in the end. It should be started in the beginning itself. Principle of developmental nature. Okay, guidance is developmental in nature. It focuses on growth and progress of the individual. Okay, then principle of adjustment. Okay, it helps individuals to adjust effectively with the environment like school, home, society. Okay, then principle of problem solving. Guidance will help individuals to identify, analyze, and solve their own problems. That means it will make an individual self-reliant. Principle of need-based guidance. Guidance should be provided according to the need of the individuals. Okay, if the whatever the individuals require guidance in that area, guidance should be given. Okay, then principle of trained personnel. Guidance should be provided by a trained and qualified person only, not by everybody and anybody. Okay. Then principle of integration with education. So it should be an integral part of the education system. Principle of confidentiality. The information that is shared by the individuals to the counselor should be kept confidential. Okay. That this will build trust of the individuals. Then principle of realistic approach. So the guidance should be realistic, and the goals which are set in the guidance should be achievable. based on the abilities and circumstances of the individuals. Principle of follow-up. Guidance, once if a person is guided, he cannot be he cannot be left like that. That means guidance should include follow-up to evaluate the effectiveness of the guidance that has been provided. It should not be, a one-day process. After you give guidance once, you cannot leave the person. You have to call him again and then follow up for to find out the effectiveness of the guidance. What are the stages of educational guidance? As we already know, educational guidance is a very important aspect of educational projects. We have already dealt with the definition and the meaning before. Now let us directly go to the stages. So let us look at the first, that is primary and secondary stage together. Okay, the stage covers early years of schooling where the foundation is laid for the personality development, and students are in the process of developing basic skills, habits, attitudes, and values. Okay, the next is a secondary stage. After developing of basic skills, habits, attitudes, and values, students develop a sense of identity. Identity is who I am, what am I interested in, what are my abilities, and they develop awareness about the same. So guidance at this stage will help individuals identifying their individual differences and improving their study habits and dealing with failures and difficulties. Then the next one is higher secondary stage. It's a very crucial period in a student's life. The stage is after the 10th standard. They make important decisions regarding subject selection and future career path. Guidance at this stage is extremely important as it will help students to choose their appropriate streams in whichever subject they like. And at this stage, students also face a lot of pressure from parents, peers, and society. That is the adolescent stage actually. So guidance is extremely necessary at this particular stage for them to go in the right direction. Okay, guidance at this higher secondary stage will decide who the person is, what the person is, and it will decide the fate of the person. Third stage is college and university stage. Okay, this is a stage of adulthood and they face more complex challenges regarding career, relationships, and personal life. Okay, so guidance at this stage will help students in choosing the appropriate course and developing professional skills and preparing them for jobs. Okay, and the guidance will also help them in preparing for competitive exams also. And at this stage, students will face emotional and psychological problems like stress, anxiety, relationship issues, and guidance will act as a um, in, guidance will take a very important place in this stage, and it will help students in developing life skills like decision making, problem solving, communication, and leadership. What is the relationship between guidance and education? So education and guidance are very closely related and interdependent with each other. Education cannot proceed without guidance, and for guidance cannot proceed without education. So both of them are interdependent. Okay, then education is a process of acquiring knowledge, skills, values, attitude, while guidance is a process of directing and supporting individuals in making appropriate choices and adjustments in life. So what is the relationship? First, guidance is an integral part of education. Okay, next, both of them aim at holistic development of the student. Then guidance directs the education process. Okay, guidance will pave a path for education. Guidance will help in proper utilization of the educational opportunities. And then education provides the basis of guidance. If there is no education, then what will a person guide? Correct, no. Then guidance helps in adjustment within the educational environment. Then both promote decision making ability. Then guidance reduces educational wastage. What is educational wastage? We have discussed in the before answer. It failures, dropouts, wrong course selection. It is all these come under educational wastage. Both contribute to social development. Guidance makes education meaningful and purposeful. What are the agencies to provide guidance? That means what are the sources of guidance? Okay. So the first agency to provide guidance is state level guidance agencies. Okay. They function under the state government and are responsible for implementing guidance programs in school and colleges within the state. Okay. Then they organize training program for teachers, counselors to enhance their skill and providing guidance. They also conduct workshops, seminars, and awareness programs for students regarding career opportunities. Okay. Then national level guiding agencies. Okay, they operate at the center level. Okay, throughout the country. Okay, they develop training materials, conduct national level research programs, and design programs for professional development of teachers and counselors. Some of the national level guiding agencies are DEIPFE, that is Department of Educational Psychology and Foundation of Education. And NCRT, which is very famous, everyone knows about this. Okay, National Council for Educational Research and Training, that is there in New Delhi. Then PSSCIVE Bhopal, that is Pandit Sundarlal Sharma Central Institute of Vocational Education. CIRTES, Central Institute of Research and Training in Employment Service. CSC, Central Service Center or Career Service Center. Then DGE, Directorate General of Employment. NES, National Employment Service. Then the next question is, what are the objectives of counseling? So what is counseling? Counseling is a specialized process that helps individuals to understand themselves, resolve their problems, and make appropriate decisions in life. Okay, it focuses on personal, emotional, social, and physiological aspect of an individual's development. So in the present times, counseling is very, very important. So what are the objectives of counseling? It helps in self-understanding. It promotes self-acceptance. It improves decision-making ability. It helps to solve personal problems, promotes emotional stability. It develops problem-solving skills. It improves interpersonal relationships. Then it enhances self-confidence. Then it promotes positive behavior. It helps in adjustment, reduces stress and anxiety, encourages goal setting, promotes mental health, develop coping skills. What are coping skills? If an individual faces any difficulty in life, this counseling will help him come out of that difficult situations and handle the situation intelligently. It encourages self-reliance, improves academic performance, provides career guidance, develops social skills, prevents other problems like problem related to future issues. Okay, it encourages personal growth, builds positive attitude, it improves communication skills, it helps in crisis management, it strengthens decision making skills, decision confidence. Okay, that means an individual can trust their own decisions. Okay, it promotes overall well-being. What is the relationship between guidance and counseling? Previously we have seen the relationship between education and guidance. Now what is the relationship between guidance and counseling? So in the same way as education and guidance and counseling also go hand in hand, and they are interrelated to each other. And they in general terms we use both words interchangeably, but they are not exactly the same. Okay, guidance is a broader concept which includes wide range of services provided to individuals to help them make appropriate decisions in education. While counseling is more specialized, in-depth process, okay, that deals with personal, emotional, and physiological problems. Okay, so guidance looks at a broader picture. Counseling is narrowed down. Okay, they complement each other and work together to support individuals in understanding themselves and solving problems and achieving their goals. So, what is the relationship between both guidance and counseling? Counseling is a part of guidance. Guidance includes counseling. Okay, as I have already said, guidance is a broader concept which includes counseling. Both aim at individual development, helping decision making, then problem solving approach. Then both of them are preventive and remedial in nature. Okay, scope and depth. Guidance, what is the scope and depth of both of them? Guidance has a wider scope and covers a large number of individuals at a general level. It is generalized, while counseling is personalized. Okay, nature of relationship. Okay, in guidance, the relationship between the guide and the individual is more general and formal. Whereas in counseling, it will become more personal, confidential, and it is based on trust and understanding. Okay. Then method of approach. Guidance involves providing information and suggestions, whereas counseling involves active listening, empathy, and helping individuals. Okay, it is a more personalized approach. Guidance is a generalized approach. And what is the role of teacher? Teacher plays an important role in guiding and counseling. Okay, in guidance they just provide the information and direction, while in counseling they help the students. Each students they give individualized help, and they help with personal issues and emotional support. Then both of them, then common goal for well-being. Both of them aim at the main goal of both is well-being. Okay, that is a common goal. What is the purpose of guidance and counseling? So this purpose can be broadly classified into two major categories. First is individual purpose, next is social purpose. Individual is one for is individual purpose is for one's own growth, and social purpose is for the growth and development of the society. So first let us see individual related purpose. To promote self understanding, to develop decision making ability, to achieve personal adjustment, to enhance emotional stability, to encourage personal growth. So society related purpose. First is to maintain social harmony, to develop responsible citizens, to reduce social problems, to promote productive workforce, to support social development. Explain the role of teacher in counseling at various levels. As we already know, teacher plays an important role in counseling and guidance, as she's in constant contact with the students. She constantly interacts with the students and understands their needs, behavior, problems better than any others. A student spends maximum time with the teacher, so she knows him better. So this the counseling occurs at different stages of education. So first is elementary level. Okay, elementary level students, children are in their early stages of development, and hence they require maximum care, support, and understanding. Okay, so teacher will help the students to adjust to the school environment by creating a friendly and secure atmosphere. They guide the students in developing good habits like discipline, cleanliness, cooperation. At this stage, emotional support also is very much necessary. Then at secondary level, that is the adolescent stage. This is a very, very important stage, as it is the stage of rapid physical and mental growth. Guidance and counseling are very much necessary, and teachers should help students develop proper study habits, and teachers should also deal with the emotional problems like stress, anxiety, peer pressure, and identity crisis. Okay, so it is very important for the teacher to act as a guide and a counselor at the adolescence level. Then college level, in this stage students face challenges like career planning, independence, and personal responsibilities, and teachers should guide in selecting suitable in helping students select a suitable career path depending upon their abilities, interest, and the available opportunities. Then discuss about adolescent counseling. So counseling at this stage, as we already know, is very, very important, as students experience lot of confusion, identity crisis, stress, peer pressure, and emotional instability at this stage. So what is meant by adolescence counseling? It refers to the process of assisting adolescents in understanding their own feelings, behavior, and challenges. It will help them handle issues related to identity, relationship, academic, and future planning. So what is the need for adolescent counseling? During this stage, adolescents face several challenges, which brings the need of counseling. Okay, they experience rapid physical changes, and lot of this leads to lot of confusion and lack of counseling confidence. They face peer pressure, and they also face lot of academic pressure, and hence counseling is very much needed during this stage. What are the areas of adolescence counseling? First, focuses on emotional problems like self-esteem and identity issues. Then one more area that has to be covered is vocational counseling. That is counseling which helps students in choosing suitable careers based on their interest and abilities. Then health related counseling that addresses problems related to physical and mental health. Then, what is the role of a counselor in adolescent counseling? As we already know, the counselor plays a major role in supporting adolescents during this sensitive stage. Okay, he builds uh, trust, trusting relationship with the adolescents. He listens actively and understands the problems without judging the students. And he provides guidance in decision making and problem solving. And he also teaches coping strategies, that is how to deal with stress, anxiety, and peer pressure. And the counselor encourages positive behavior and helps adolescents develop confidence and self control. So, what are the various techniques used? uh, Personal interaction and focusing on specific problems, and group counseling also helps a lot, so that adolescents can share their experiences and each person can learn from the other one. And then various behavioral techniques are used to modify negative behaviors, and cognitive techniques help in changing negative thinking patterns, and role playing and modeling also is a very effective technique. The next question is, explain the role of teacher as counselor. Previously, we have seen the role of a teacher at different levels. Now we will see general role of teacher. Okay. Now they help in guidance and supporting. They facilitate adjustment. They promote well-being of the students. They identify and address the problems which students are facing. They encourage positive change. They collaborate parents and counselors. What are the characteristics a teacher should possess when she is acting as a counselor? She has to have empathy and understanding. She must be a good listener. She must be trustworthy and reliable. Whatever information she knows, she should keep it confidential. She should be positive and encouraging. She should be open minded and flexible. What are the attributes of a counselor? He should be having self awareness and understanding. He should be of sound mental health, that is good mental health. He should be sensitive. That means he should be having the ability to understand and respond to the emotions feelings and emotions of others. He should be open minded and he should have objectivity. That means to any situation, he should react very neutral and he should be unbiased while dealing with his clients, and he should be easily approachable. Discuss adolescent counseling. So, adolescence, as we know, it is a very crucial age of a person's life, which is characterized by rapid growth spurt, and it is from 12 to 18 years. Okay, so counseling during adolescence is very, very important, and it helps the adolescents understand the changes that are happening to themselves and in the surroundings, and they can also, with the help of counseling, manage their emotions and take appropriate decisions. Okay, so this is the meaning of adolescent counseling. It refers to the process of helping young individuals understand themselves and deal effectively with various problems they encounter during adolescence. Then, what is the need for adolescence counseling? It is the adolescence, as we already know, it is a period of significant physical and mental changes. So it leads to a lot of confusion and lot of self-consciousness. Okay. So they experience a lot of mood swings, anxiety, anger, and depression. So these emotions create internal conflict and stress. And also peer pressure also will be a major challenge during this phase. Identity crisis and academic pressure. So to cope up all these, counseling is required for adolescents. So what are the objectives of adolescent counseling? It aims to promote emotional stability. It helps adolescents develop decision making and problem solving skills. It focuses on building self confidence and positive self image. And it helps in guiding adolescents in career planning and helping them set realistic goals. Okay. What are the areas of adolescent counseling? First, personal counseling, then educational counseling, then vocational counseling, social counseling, and health counseling. What is the role of a counselor in adolescent counseling? He establishes trusting and confidential relationship with the adolescent. They listen actively and understand the adolescent's problems without judging and criticizing. The counselor help adolescents explore their thoughts and feelings, enabling them to gain clarity about their situation. They provide guidance in decision making, and they encourage positive behavior and help adolescents develop self-confidence. They also involve parents and teachers if necessary. What are certain techniques used in adolescents counseling? Individual counseling, group counseling, behavioral techniques, cognitive techniques, and activities such as role playing, discussions, and interactive sessions. So, what is the importance? This counseling helps in overall development of individuals by addressing emotional, social, and academic issues. It prevents serious problems like depression, substance abuse, and delinquency. Delinquency is crimes which are done by the minors, and provide timely support. Okay, due to this adolescent counseling, adolescents become very confident, responsible, and well-adjusted individuals. Now let us quickly go through all the 10 marks question. Explain the meaning, nature, and scope of guidance. Okay, as we already know, the guidance is systematic, planned, and organized process by which an individual is helped to understand himself and his environment so that he can take proper decisions in his life. Okay, it results in total development of the individual. Okay, and then it helps individuals develop self-understanding. Then it makes individuals wise and it makes individuals to take wise and realistic decisions. And it helps individuals think independently, analyze situations, and arrive at their own conclusions. It promotes self-direction and self-reliance. It is a continuous process of assistance which results in self-realization. What is the nature of guidance? Guidance is a process, not only a single process, but guidance is a continuous process. It is an individualized education. It is understanding a person in a better way. Guidance is development of capacities in a person. Okay, it is an educational service. No imposition of one's viewpoint. Guidance does not involve any imposition of any kind of viewpoints on the students. It is an organized service. Guidance is for all. Guidance help in developing self guidance. Okay, a person can guide himself through guidance. Then it is a specialized and it is both a specialized and generalized service. That is, it is individualized. It is personalized, and it is a general service. It is a dynamic process. That is, it keeps on changing with the individuals and also with the societal norms. Scope, need, and importance of guidance. So guidance is needed for total development of the individual. It is required for the individuals to make proper educational choices at different stages. It helps students in choosing, preparing for, and entering into a better career. It is needed for vocational development of students. It is also needed for better adjustment of the students in the school, and also not only in school, home adjustment also it improves. Then guidance is needed to supplement the efforts of the family. Whatever efforts family put in motivating a student, guidance will add to it. Guidance is needed to reduce the mismatch between education and employment. And it helps students from the weaker section of the society who doesn't have anybody to guide them. Okay. It is needed to help students in need for social support. It also makes sure that the student ensures it also ensures that the student uses his leisure time in a proper way, that is hobbies, sports, and other creative activities. Guidance is needed to reduce the wastage and stagnation in education. It attracts students towards the school. It helps in retention of the student in the school. Okay. It is needed to organize higher secondary education systematically and successfully. It is needed to check the indiscipline among students. Discuss the need of guidance. We have already discussed some of the needs before. Here are some other needs. Total development of pupil, proper makes them make proper educational choices at different stages, choosing, preparing, and entering into better career, vocational development of student, then better school adjustment, better home adjustment, and supplement the efforts of family, reduce the mismatch between education and employment, help the students of the weaker section, need for social support, proper usage of leisure time, reduce wastage and stagnation in education, attract students towards school, organize secondary and higher secondary education systematically and successfully, and check in discipline, same as the previous one. Discuss the educational guidance. This also we have discussed previously. Uh, this is a definition for educational guidance. It helps. That means it helps the students deal. It helps. It is a branch of guidance that deals with helping the students in all matters related to education, learning, academic progress, and future educational planning. So this is the nature of educational guidance. You can go through. What is vocational guidance? Now let us look at this one. Explain its aim, objectives, and stages. Okay. Vocational guidance is a process that helps individuals in choosing, preparing, and entering and progressing in an occupation which is suitable to their abilities, interests, and values. So, okay, it plays an important role in education, linking education with the world of work. Okay, it helps individuals to gain knowledge about various occupations, what are their requirements, what are the working conditions, and what are the future prospects. So they can make informed career decision. Vocation is nothing but something related to the career path a person chooses. Okay, it is essential in the modern society due to rapid industrialization, technological advancement, and increasing competition. It aims at proper utilization of the human resources like unemployment, and it reduces unemployment and increases job satisfaction. What is the need for vocational guidance? There is rapid industrialization that is going on every day. Okay, individual differences, variety of vocation. There are so many career paths to choose from. Students get confused what to take. So a proper guidance is required in this area. Then vocational progress. Okay. Then controlling economic damage. What is economic damage? As I have already told you, economic damage is unemployment, wastage of resources. So vocational guidance will help in this aspect. Health issues, then stable future, proper development of human potentialities, coordination between family and vocational life. What are the aims of vocational guidance? Choose a suitable vocation, helps individuals choose a suitable career path, provides accurate information about different occupations. It develops positive attitude towards work and dignity of labor. It helps in preparation of for a chosen career, better adjustment in the work and employment, reduces unemployment and underemployment. Okay, promotes job satisfaction and efficiency, ensures proper utilization of human resources. What are the objectives of vocational guidance? It helps individuals understand their own abilities, interests, and aptitude. It provides knowledge about various occupations and their requirement. It assists in selection of suitable courses and training programs. It develops vocational skills and competencies. It helps individuals enter suitable jobs. It helps in adjustment to the work environment. It promotes career development and advancement. It reduces wrong occupational choices. And also it develops self-confidence in career decision making, and also it ensures social and economic stability. Here also there are different stages, that is elementary stage, secondary stage, and higher secondary stage. What is the main aspect of elementary stage? It develops awareness about work and work occupation. Just this is a awareness developing phase. Okay, in secondary stages students begin to show interest in a specific occupation. In the elementary stage, all the occupations children explore. All the occupations children gain awareness about. Whereas in secondary stage, they start showing interest to specific occupations. Then in higher secondary stage, they take up the career which they find it interesting. So vocational guidance is very, very important in each and every stage. Then define personal guidance. We have seen vocational guidance. Now what is personal guidance? It It deals with helping individuals in solving their personal, emotional, social, and physiological problems. It aims at development of well-balanced and integrated personality. Okay, it helps people or individuals facing difficulties like anxiety, fear, frustration, emotional conflicts, low self-esteem, adjustment problems. Okay, then it plays an important role in promoting mental health and emotional well-being. And personal guidance has no age. It is required at all stages of life, especially during childhood and adolescence, where individuals undergo rapid physical and emotional changes. What is the purpose of physical guidance? Helps individual achieve emotional stability, promotes mental health, develops self-understanding, improves self-confidence and self-esteem, helps in adjustment with family and society, develops social skills and interpersonal relationships, help in solving personal and emotional problems, reduces conflicts, and promotes positive attitudes and values, ensures balanced personality development. What are the objectives? It helps individuals understand their own emotions, feelings, behavior patterns. It develops emotional maturity and stability, promotes self-control and self-discipline, helps interpersonal relationship and social interactions, develops self-confidence and positive self-concept. What is self-concept? What one thinks about himself. Okay, help individual cope with stress, anxiety, and tension, and guides individuals in making very sound personal decisions, develop problem solving skills, promote mental health and emotional well being, social adjustment and responsibility, reduces maladjustment, that is not proper adjustment. Okay, and maladjustment and behavioral problems, encourages positive thinking and constructive attitudes, help individual achieve self realization and inner satisfaction, and promote holistic development of personality of an individual. Here also there are three stages: elementary stage, secondary stage, and college and university stage. Okay, elementary stage, it just focuses on developing good habits, discipline, emotional control, and basic social behavior. Second stage, it identifies various problems which are faced by adolescents. This is the adolescent stage. It addresses various problems related to identity, peer pressure, emotional instability, and behavioral issues. College and university stage is the highest stage where individuals face challenges related to career, decision making, independence, relationships, stress, and future planning. So at every stage, personal guidance is very personal guidance is required. Define counseling and nature of counseling. We have already seen this earlier. It is a systematic, professional, and scientific process through which a trained counselor will help the individual. The individual is called counseling to understand self problems, feelings, and environment in order to make appropriate decisions and adjustments. Okay, what are the according to this Rogers is a very important person. According to him, he defined counseling as a process of helping individuals to help himself, where the counselor creates a climate of acceptance, empathy, and guidance. Okay, what is the nature of counseling? It is a it is helping and supportive process. It is professional and specialized service. It is face to face and develops interpersonal relationships. It is based on warm, friendly, and trusting friendship. It is client centered in approach. It is goal oriented process. Then it is continuous and progressive process. It is a confidential process. It is dynamic and flexible. It is two-way communication. Both the counselor and the counselee actively participates. But it is not a one-sided lecture. It emphasizes self-understanding and self-awareness. It develops decision-making abilities, improves problem-solving skills. It is preventive and curative. Okay, that is, it prevents future problems and solves existing problems. It is developmental in nature. It respects individual differences. Then it is non-judgmental and accepting. It is self-directional and independence. It is emotional as well. It deals with emotional as well as intellectual aspects. Then It is based on scientific principles and psychological theories. It helps in adjustment in different areas of life, leads to behavior modification, and it enhances mental health and emotional well-being. It is educational in nature. It is situational and need-based. It involves active listening and empathy. It is time-bound but impactful process. Explain the scope of counseling. Okay. Um, we have seen uh, uh, the definition of counseling, and then we will directly go to the scope of counseling. That is, it helps in anger management. It helps in bereavement and loss. Bereavement is the loss of loved ones. It which results in sadness, loneliness, and depression. Okay, it helps person combat or come out of low self-esteem and builds confidence. It helps in stress management. It helps a person come out of addictions, and it uh, helps in preventing abuse, which can be physical, emotional, or sexual. And it helps a person come out of depression. Then trauma. Then it helps a person come out of eating disorders. And then post-traumatic stress disorders, that is PTSD. Explain the characteristics of counseling. It is dynamic, it is developmental and preventive, it develops decision making ability, it develops sense of responsibility, it is comprehensive in scope, it it deals with emotional and intellectual process, then it is motivating in nature, it improves the learnability, mm, can be directive as well as non-directive. That is, it can directly guide a person or it can indirectly guide a person, okay, based on the needs of the individual. It can be continuous and a long-term process, and also a long-term process. It is a behave changing process. It is socially oriented, it is judicious and thoughtful. That is, it is based on the laws. It develops self-understanding. It develops essential life skills. It creates awareness of all the available opportunities. It helps in acquiring and using various kinds of information. It assists in making appropriate leisure choices. It develops positive attitude and outlook. It promotes self-direction and independence. It develops and utilizes potentialities. Sharpens perception and understanding, develops problem solving ability. It helps to understand needs and problems. It ensures better utilization of human resources. It identifies and nurtures human potentiality. It promotes adjustment and well being. It strengthens interpersonal relationships, and it encourages self evaluation and reflection. And it also supports lifelong learning and growth. Discuss counseling process. So, we have seen before also. So what are the different phases in the counseling process? First, establishing a relationship. This is the foundational stage. Then beginning the counseling process with adequate social skills. Okay, like asking, this stage includes asking questions such as asking various questions, paraphrasing, reflecting, and summarizing. Okay, it includes both verbal and non-verbal communications like tone, facial expression, body language, etc. Okay, then assessment and diagnosis of the problem. Now, at this stage, the counselor will try to understand the in-depth problem of the counseling, and then he will address it in detail. And then setting goals for counseling is a fourth step. Then, after the diagnosis happened, the counselor will set clear, specific, and realistic goals. Okay, like goals like emotional control, behavioral changes, improved relationship, better academic performance, and decision making ability. Okay, so these goals are decided together by the counselor and the counselor. These goals are measurable and achievable. Okay, then intervention and counseling techniques. So this is a phase which is very important, an action oriented phase where the actual process takes place. Okay, he uses various techniques and strategies to uh, based on the nature of the problems. The techniques include advice, suggestion, reinforcement, behavior modification, etc. So this stage is the actual counseling stage which happens. That the previous stages are all the stages where the counselor will try to understand what the problem is. Now this one, he will give the answer for the problems. Then termination of counseling. Okay. This is the end stage where the after the counselor will give all his advices, the counseling will stop. Okay. Then next is where this is also very important. After termination, the counselor should arrange follow-up meetings, like um how the counseling session has worked and long-term effectiveness of counseling. It helps. This follow-up will ensure that the individuals continue to apply whatever they have learned in the counseling sessions. Okay. It strengthens the individual's confidence and independence. So follow-up is very, very essential for ensuring permanent and meaningful change. Then what are the methods of counseling? Explain directive and non-directive, and directive, non-directive, and eclectic counseling techniques. So as we already know, counseling is a professional helping process. Uh, so different uh, approaches that are involved in this counseling process are: first, directive counseling. It is a counselor centered counseling. Here the counselor occupies a main position, and the counselee, or the person who is undertaking the counseling session, act, takes a passive role. Okay, the counselor only does the major talking part. He analyzes the problem, identifies the causes, and suggests a solution. Okay, so here the counselor is very active and he occupies the authoritative position. The counselor is passive, or he is dependent on the counselor. It is a quick and time saving method, and it is suitable for minor issues. Then these are the steps in directive counseling, and it has various advantages and limitations. It provides quick solutions and saves a lot of time and effort. What are the other advantages? It is useful for educational and vocational guidance. It is effective for individuals who need clear direction and guidance, and it is suitable for larger groups. Okay, where it is difficult to take everybody's opinion. Okay, what are the limitations? It does not promote independence and self-reliance. The person who is taking counseling is totally dependent on the counselor. Okay. Then it ignores emotional aspects and feelings. Solutions may not be fully accepted by the individual. It is not suitable for deep emotional or psychological problems. Then non-directive or client-centered counseling. Okay. This counseling is also known as client-centered, and it was developed by Carl Roger. Here the client plays the major role, and the counselor is just a facilitator or a guide. Okay. What are the characteristics? The client is active and responsive. Counselor is passive here. Okay. Emphasis on emotional expression and self-exploration. Focuses on personal growth and self-realization. It encourages independent decision making. Okay. So these are the various steps in the non-directive counseling, and this is the advantages. Some of the advantages are: it promotes self-confidence, it helps in deep emotional understanding, and since it is done by the major part is taken over by the client, so it leads to long lasting behavioral change, and there is a strong counselor and client relationship. What are the limitations? It is a time consuming process. Okay, and it is not suitable for those who need immediate action, who need immediate results. Okay, and it requires highly skilled and trained counselors, and it does not work effectively with immature or less cooperative clients. Then eclectic counseling. It is a combination of both directive and non-directive counseling. Okay, the counselor uses different techniques and methods based on the situations and the needs of the client. Okay, in some cases, if it is required, the client takes directive role. If it is not required, he takes non-directive role. So this is very flexible, practical, and effective counseling method. So it is main characteristics are: it is flexible and adaptive approach. It combines the best features of all the different methods, that is non-directive and directive. So counselor plays active and passive roles depending upon the situation, and it emphasizes on effectiveness rather than a rigid theory. These are the steps in eclectic counseling. And what are the advantages? It is flexible. It is suitable for variety problems. It combines various approaches. It is most effective and result oriented. It adapts to the changing needs of the client. What are the limitations? It requires high level of skill and experience. Okay. It and it does not have a clear theoretical base. It creates a lot of confusion if it is not applied properly. Okay. And it totally depends upon the counselor's judgment and expertise. Discuss the importance of counseling. Okay, it helps in maintaining good health, the time management, development of balanced personality, ensures proper adjustment, understands individual difference, development of life skills, help in career selection, improves decision making abilities. So it's a very easy answer. You can go through. Development of life. What are the areas of counseling? Explain family counseling, parental counseling, peer counseling. Also write the aims, objectives, and benefits of peer counseling. Family counseling is a process in which all or some members of the family are guided to improve interpersonal relationship, communication patterns, and emotional understanding. Okay, it views family as an interdependent system where the behavior of one family member will affect the entire family. Okay, the main focus is on resolving conflicts, strengthening relationships, and promoting harmony within the family. So, what is the explanation and importance? It helps resolving conflicts between parents, children, and other family members. It improves communication skills within the family, which help in reducing misunderstanding. It promotes mutual respect, trust, cooperation, and emotional bonding. It helps parents understand the emotional, physiological, and developmental needs of the children. It also assists in dealing with marital conflicts, sibling rivalry, and generational gaps. Some other benefits include reducing stress, anxiety, anger, and emotional disturbances, encourages joint decision making and shared responsibilities. It provides strategies to handle family crises, helps in developing a supportive and secure home environment. Then, emotional stability and confidence in children, it helps to build. Then, promotes healthy discipline practices. It helps in correcting maladjusted behaviors and negative attitudes, encourages empathy and understanding among family members. So in the end, it helps in developing a balanced and harmonious family. Parental or peripheral counseling. It helps improve parenting skills, attitudes, and behaviors in order to support child development. Okay. It is called peripheral counseling because it helps the child indirectly through the parents. Okay, it emphasizes understanding child psychology, developmental stages, and individual differences. And what is the importance? Helps parent understand the growth and development of child at different stages. It promotes positive parenting techniques. It reduces the use of punishment, criticism, and negative discipline methods. And all the other points are given very clearly. You can go through. Then what is peer counseling? Peer counseling is a helping process in which individuals belonging to the same age group or a similar social status provide support and guide each other. Okay, friends guiding other friends. Okay, it is very useful because individuals feel more comfortable, open, and less judged when sharing problem with their peers or friends. Okay, so peer counselors are counseling sessions are usually given, so there are peer counselors who are usually given basic training in listening skills, empathy, and problem solving techniques. So what is the explanation and importance? Safe, friendly, non-threatening environment is there. It encourages free expression of thoughts, emotions, and personal problems. And other points you can go through. And what are the main objectives of peer counseling? It provides emotional support, care, and understanding. It develops effective communication and active listening skills. It develops self-awareness, self-confidence, and also help peers in academic and personal and social problem, encourages positive attitude, develop leadership qualities, and creates a supportive, friendly, and inclusive environment. It reduces stress, anxiety, and emotional disturbances and improves adjustment in school, family, and society. Okay, so these are the aims you can go through. What are the advantages of peer counseling? It provides easy and immediate access. It creates a sense of belonging, acceptance, and security. It encourages open sharing without the fear of judgment or criticism. Helps in developing self-confidence, self-expression, and communication skills. It promotes healthy relationships and positive peer environment. Okay. Then it reduces bullying, conflicts, and negative peer pressure. It improves academic performance through emotional support, develops leadership, empathy, and responsibility. So, peer counseling is very, very important. Explain the role of teacher as a counselor. So, teacher is not only a provider of knowledge, teacher is also a guide, mentor, and counselor who supports the overall development of students. Okay, students today face a lot of challenges like academic pressure, emotional stress, social conflicts, identity issues, and adjustment problems. All these require continuous guidance. Teacher, as we already know, interacts with students on a daily basis. So the teacher is in the best position to observe their behavior, understand their needs, and provide timely support. Okay, what is the role of a teacher as a counselor? Teacher guides and supports the students. Teacher facilitates adjustment, promotes well-being of all the students, identifies and addresses the problem based on the issue, encourages positive change, develops decision-making abilities, providing emotional support, then improving interpersonal relationships, encouraging self-understanding, collaborating with parents and counselors, preventing behavioral problems and supporting academic development. What are the characteristics of teacher as a counselor? Teacher should express empathy and understanding. She should be a good listener. She should be trustworthy and reliable, positive and encouraging, open-minded and flexible. Emotional stability. Teacher herself should possess emotional stability before teaching anything to her students. Good communication skills, patience and tolerance and confidentiality. She should maintain secrecy. What are the attributes of a counselor? So some of the attributes are self-awareness and understanding, good mental health, sensitivity, open-mindedness, objectivity, approachability, empathy, patience and tolerance, good communication skills, confidentiality, emotional stability, genuineness and sincerity, respect for individuality, problem solving and analytical ability, professional competence, flexibility and adaptability. This is the conclusion. Discuss adolescent counseling. So, as we already know, counseling during the adolescent stage, that is 12 to 18 years, is extremely important. Okay, what is the need for adolescents counseling? During adolescent stage, the children experience rapid physical changes which leads to a lot of confusion and insecurity. They experience a lot of mood swings, anxiety, anger, and frustration. They face identity crisis and self-doubt. They are under a lot of academic pressure and pressure for uh, competing, and they are under the influence of peer pressure. They also have lack of proper communication with parents and teachers, which leads to misunderstanding and isolation. Exposure to social media and technology creates confusion and unrealistic expectations. Okay, so they require a need for proper career guidance and future planning. If proper guidance is not there, there is a risk of developing behavioral problems and maladjustment. What are the objectives of adolescent counseling? Help adolescents achieve self understanding, self awareness, promote emotional stability and mental health, develop self confidence and self esteem to guide in making proper educational and career choices, improve decision making and problem solving skills. Uh, Guidance helps in managing stress, anxiety, and emotional conflicts, promotes healthy relationship with peers, parents, and teachers, prevents behavioral and psychological problems, develop positive attitudes and values, ensures proper adjustment in school, family, and the society. What are the various areas of adolescent counseling? First, educational counseling, then vocational counseling, personal counseling, social counseling, and moral and value counseling. What are the different problems of adolescents which are addressed through counseling? Emotional problems, behavioral problems, academic problems, social problems, family related problems, identity and self esteem issues, and career related confusion. What is the role of counselor? They provide safe and supportive environment. They listen actively and understand the feelings and problems of adolescents, and they make the students develop self awareness and self confidence. The guide in making appropriate decisions and choices, help in communication and interpersonal relationships, identify serious problems, and provides professional intervention whenever needed, works in collaboration with parents and teachers. So, what are the techniques used in adolescence counseling? Individual counseling, group counseling, behavioral techniques, guidance and discussion method, role play and activities, motivation and reinforcement techniques. Okay. What is the importance of adolescence counseling? It helps in achieving balanced personality development, promotes mental health and emotional well being, prevents serious behavioral and psychological problems, improves academic performance and concentration, strengthens relationship with families and peers, develops life skills and coping mechanism, encourages responsible and positive behavior, and also due to all this, the adolescents will become confident, independent, and well adjusted individuals. What are some of the challenges faced during counseling adolescents? They may show resistance or lack of openness, influence of peer pressure and social media, lack of proper training and resources in schools. Communication gap will be there between parents, teachers, and adolescents. And there will be social stigma related to seeking counsel help. Like students will not freely take counseling help because others they have a fear that others might judge them.